South Africa is a nation often misunderstood. The world sees a country that condemns Israel, but this is not the whole truth. Many South Africans are deeply troubled by these actions, especially South African Christians. We believe in God and His Word, and we stand with Israel. We are a diverse nation with a wide range of beliefs. The actions of a few do not reflect the hearts of all. We are here, and we will not be silenced. The current South African government, the African National Congress, does not represent the views of all South Africans. This is especially true for Christian citizens. The ANC's policies and actions often directly contradict our deeply held religious beliefs. We cannot and do not stand with them in their condemnation of Israel. The ANC's history is rooted in liberation struggle, but their current trajectory veers far from the principles of justice and equality they once championed. Their stance on Israel, a nation with deep biblical significance for Christians, is a clear example of this deviation. Their actions do not represent the heart of true South African Christians. We, the true Christians of South Africa, stand firmly on the side of righteousness and justice. Our faith teaches us to love our neighbor, to stand up for the oppressed, and to pray for peace in Jerusalem. The ANC's actions directly contradict these principles, creating a chasm between the government and its Christian citizens. We will not be silenced. We will continue to speak out against injustice and stand up for what we believe in. Our faith compels us to do so. We stand with Israel not because of political expediency, but because it is the right thing to do in the eyes of God. The recent court case brought against Israel is a travesty of justice. It is a politically motivated attack designed to demonize and delegitimize the Jewish state. We, the true Christians of South Africa, want the world to know that we do not support this case. We believe it is unjust, unfounded, and deeply harmful. This case is not about seeking justice for the Palestinian people. It is about advancing a political agenda that seeks to isolate and destroy Israel. The evidence presented is flimsy at best, and the accusations leveled against Israel are outrageous. This is nothing more than a show trial, and we will not be party to it. The ANC government's decision to pursue this case is a betrayal of the South African people. It does not reflect the will of the majority, and it certainly does not reflect the beliefs of South African Christians. We stand with Israel, and we will not be silent while this injustice is being perpetrated. We call on all people of conscience to condemn this sham of a court case. Let us stand together in solidarity with Israel and demand that this travesty be brought to an end. Our support for Israel is not merely a matter of political opinion, it is deeply rooted in our faith. As Christians, we believe that God made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, promising them the land of Israel as an everlasting possession. This promise is repeated throughout the Bible, and we believe it to be true and unchanging. Genesis chapter 12, verse 3 says, "I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." This verse makes it clear that God's blessing is upon those who stand with Israel. As Christians, we are called to align ourselves with God's will, and that includes supporting His chosen people. The Bible also teaches us that there is a spiritual battle raging between good and evil. Israel is on the front lines of this battle, and they are constantly under attack from those who seek to destroy them. We believe that it is our duty as Christians to stand with Israel and pray for their protection. Psalm 122, verse 6 says, "Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure." We take this command seriously, and we pray for the peace of Jerusalem daily. We know that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the God of Israel, and we trust in Him to protect His people. The ANC, a troubled past. The African National Congress, or ANC, presents itself as a champion of freedom and equality. However, their history tells a different story. The ANC was once designated as a terrorist organization by many countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom. Their tactics during the struggle against apartheid were often brutal and indiscriminate, resulting in the deaths of innocent civilians. Nelson Mandela, the former leader of the ANC, is often hailed as a hero and a symbol of peace. While there is no doubt that he played a significant role in ending apartheid, it is important to remember that he was also a convicted terrorist who was responsible for acts of violence. The glorification of Mandela ignores the darker aspects of his past and the ANC's history. The ANC's transformation from a terrorist organization to a legitimate political party is a complex and controversial issue. However, it is crucial to acknowledge their past and the violence that they inflicted. Their history should not be forgotten or whitewashed. The ANC's current stance on Israel is a continuation of their history of violence and hatred. They have simply found a new target for their aggression. We, the true Christians of South Africa, condemn the ANC's past and present actions. We will not stand idly by while they promote hatred and violence. The world's complicity. The international community played a significant role in the ANC's rise to power. Many countries, driven by their own political agendas, provided support and funding to the ANC, turning a blind eye to their violent tactics. This support helped to legitimize the ANC and pave the way for their eventual victory over the apartheid government. While the international community's desire to end apartheid was understandable, their methods were often misguided and counterproductive. By supporting the ANC, they inadvertently empowered a group that would go on to commit further atrocities. The consequences of their actions are still being felt today. The international community's failure to hold the ANC accountable for their actions sent a dangerous message. It signaled that violence and terrorism are acceptable tools for achieving political goals. This message continues to resonate today, as we see terrorist groups around the world using the ANC as a model for their own struggles. The world cannot continue to ignore the ANC's past or present actions. We must demand accountability for their crimes and work to ensure that such atrocities never happen again. Life under the ANC, a Boer perspective. The end of apartheid was supposed to usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for all South Africans. However, for many Boers, the reality has been far different. Since the ANC came to power, Boers have faced increasing levels of discrimination, violence, and persecution. Boer farmers have been targeted in a wave of brutal attacks, often tortured and murdered in their homes. Their land, a source of livelihood and heritage, is under threat of seizure by the government. The ANC's policies have created an environment of fear and uncertainty for the Boer community. The ANC government has failed to protect the Boer minority and, in some cases, has even been complicit in the violence directed against them. Their inaction speaks volumes. The world cannot remain silent while an entire community is being systematically targeted and oppressed. The plight of the Boers is a stark reminder that freedom and justice are not guaranteed. They are fragile things that must be constantly defended. We call on the international community to recognize the suffering of the Boer people and to hold the ANC accountable for their actions. A call to action. Stand with South African Christians. The world needs to understand. South African Christians are not represented by the ANC. We do not share their hatred for Israel. We do not condone their violence. We are a people of faith, and our faith compels us to stand with Israel. We urge you, the international community, to see us, to hear us. Do not judge all South Africans by the actions of our government. We are a diverse nation, and our voices deserve to be heard. We call on all people of faith to join us in prayer for Israel. Pray for their peace, their protection, and their prosperity. Pray for the day when Jerusalem will be a house of prayer for all nations. We must stand together against hatred and bigotry. We must be a voice for the voiceless and defenders of the oppressed. Let us be a light in the darkness, shining the love of Christ into a world that desperately needs it. United in faith, united with Israel. Our message is simple. We, the true Christians of South Africa, stand with Israel. We stand with them because our faith demands it. We stand with them because it is the right thing to do. And we stand with them because we know that the God of Israel is the one true God. We will not be silenced. We will continue to speak out against injustice and stand up for what we believe in. We will continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and for the day when all nations will come together in unity and love. We know that we are not alone in this fight. There are millions of people around the world who stand with Israel. Together, we will overcome hatred and bigotry. Together, we will be a force for good in the world. Our message is one of hope and unity. It is a message that transcends borders and cultures. It is a message that speaks to the very heart of what it means to be human. Let us stand together, united in faith, united with Israel, with